Hey friends, are you thinking about renting or buying? Do you know which one's right for you? Let's jump into some pros and cons of both. So if you are looking to rent a home or an apartment, your money to start that is going to be relatively low compared to what you would have to bring if you were purchasing a home. So for a rental, you're going to have to typically pay the first month's rent and a security deposit, which is equivalent to the first month's rent. If your credit is poor or if you don't have a great rental history, then you might have to have a double security deposit or possibly pay the first and last month's rent plus the security deposit. Either way, you're probably looking at a few $1,000s to go ahead and take care of that for you. If you're renting, you're going to have to follow your landlord's rules. So if they say no pets, you can't have pets. It has to stay pretty neutral, or if you do paint any walls, you'd have to paint them back when you leave. It might be easier to budget if you're renting because you're not going to have a crazy expense like $10,000 for an HVAC or new AC. You're going to call your landlord up if there's any issues, and then the landlord can come and fix those things for you. But that also kind of depends on how responsive your landlord is and if they're taking care of their properties. Some are better at that than others. Finally, for your lease term, your rent should stay the same, but I would expect that to go up when you renew your lease or if you move from one place to another. If your situation is fluid, maybe you're not going to be at your job for a long term and you need something that's more flexible, renting might be the way to go for you because a lease term is much shorter than a mortgage term would be. For mortgages, you're looking at 15 to 30 years typically. So now we can talk about the buying side of things. There's definitely tax benefits to purchasing a home. You get to deduct some things that you pay with a mortgage for your taxes. So any interest that you pay, typically property taxes are tax deductible. And starting again in 2026, you will be able to deduct any mortgage insurance that you have to pay as well. Equity is also a humongous thing with purchasing real estate. So typically, real estate's going to be something that's long-term, kind of like the stock market, but it does tend to go up year after year after year. And in cases where it may come down slightly, it would just be for a year or two, and then things continue to go right up. We are in an area where, just outside of DC, where there's a lot of government, there's a lot of military bases, so we constantly have a flow of people coming in and out of this area. So we are a little bit more protected than some other areas of the country. So typically, prior to real estate in this area, homes were gaining about a 5% equity year over year. Once COVID hit, we saw some people that were gaining 18% in a year. 20%, close to 20%, which is crazy nuts. That's not something that's sustainable, but that's what we saw. So now things are kind of getting back to normal and people are predicting a growth of 2 to 3% this year. So it's much smaller than what we have been experiencing, but again, we are still growing, not shrinking, not crashing. So not only do you gain value from just the property values going up over year after year, but also you're paying your mortgage down every single month and increasing your equity gap. So that's going to be a huge thing for you as well. Once your loan is paid off and you're not refinancing or doing anything else to the property, you will be able to either live just basically paying your property taxes, or you could sell that and that would be a big help for any retirement. Here's a couple of my personal experiences. So we purchased our first home in Stafford in 2011. We paid $309,000 for it. Today, I could sell that home for $550,000 to $575,000. So that's a huge increase. Now we did have put money into that house. I've had to replace air conditioners. You have to upkeep things like your kitchens, your bathrooms, roofs, windows, things like that. But that is part of home ownership. We've also purchased a property that we use as an investment property in the Outer Banks, and we rent that weekly through the summers and then are able to use it ourselves in the off season or shoulder seasons. We purchased that in 2021 for $640,000, and we're sitting around $1 million there right now as well. So we again have put money into that as well, but that's not just things that we've done to improve the house. That's also the market going up and prices and equity increasing over time. Here's a final thought. The wealth between people that own a home and somebody who doesn't own a home but just rents, the homeowner's wealth is 40% higher than somebody who doesn't own a home and just rents. That's huge. If you are wanting to buy or sell a home in Stafford, please reach out. I would love to help you achieve your real estate goals. And if maybe buying or selling isn't quite right for you right now, and if you'd like to try a rental property and get some money from renting that and let those renters pay your mortgage down and help you with your equity, hey, I'd love to help you with that as well. I hope you guys have a great day. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.